In today's podcast episode, I'm coming to you from my parents' home in northern Nevada. I have knits to share, some really yummy yarn to share, and a really cool experience I got to have yesterday at the 9th annual Rope for Hope put on at the Duff Arena Ranch here in northern Nevada, home of the lovely Valley Wool sheep. So if that sounds like just your cup of tea, get cozy and let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to the Wool Needles Hands Knitting Podcast. My name is Tayler, and I will be your host. This is not my usual podcasting location by any means. I am outside in the great outdoors here in northern Nevada, where my parents have a big piece of property. I am sitting in the back of the property where it is shady and using up the last little bits of sunshine we have left in the day to sit and meet with you guys and share some of my knitting, some fun new yarn, and a really cool experience that I just had. I'm so happy that you're taking the time to hang out with me today. It means a lot to be with you guys. I am I'm almost on the other side of a head cold, so you might hear it in my voice a little bit. I feel like I sound like my head is in a fishbowl, but we're gonna get through it. Also, we're outside. And I don't know if you can tell by looking behind me, it might be kind of hard to tell, but we are in an area that it's farmland and ranch land, and so there's lots of noises that may occur. We're outside in nature. It's kind of windy. My hair's a mess. There's poplar trees that are absolutely gorgeous, and their leaves are rattling next to me. So these are all the lovely sounds that you may hear. And I can't promise that one of my boys isn't going to go running off in the background, or Pepper, or a four-wheeler. Guys, like, all bets are off right now. This is new. Okay, before I dive into all that content, a couple quick reminders to let you know that Fiber for the People, my hand-dyed yarn business, will be having a shop update on Saturday, July 29th at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. You can learn more about Fiber for the People by heading over to fiberforthepeople.com, or you can find me on Instagram as @fiber.for.the.people. Sign up for the newsletter, stay in the loop. The next shop update is going to be gorgeous. Also, don't forget to head over to woolneedleshands.com. That is the website for the podcast, for the channel. Here you can shop really awesome merch for the Wool Needles Hands channel and help support your favorite knitting podcast. You can also shop from a small collection of patterns I have. Drop me a line in the tip line and a few other things, and definitely sign up for that monthly newsletter as well. Okay, let's get into it. I'm getting used to this. I feel like there's just so much going on. There's some sheep that actually come roaming over here that it's like distracting. Like, I'm not used to this. I'm so used to being able to narrow my focus in the office of my home. But I love that. Like, now I can hear my kids getting up. Okay, we're gonna get started. I wanna share with you the progress that I'm making on my Hollows shawl by Melody Hoffman. I am obsessed with this pattern. I love working on this. I'm really enjoying the yarn and all of that. Now, I am in the middle of a row, and I really should have taken care of this before we started, but I did not. But I am making some good progress. So I have finished the first 3 short row sections of this project. If you're familiar with it, you know what I mean. If you're not familiar with it, there's several short row sections that create these really cool, they're just like really cool undulating sections within the Hollows shawl. It's gorgeous. And this is kind of where I am. It's hard to show you even if I had completed the row, but I mean, you guys, like, how beautiful is that texture? And look at it rippling in the wind. Oh, it's so good. It's just so earthy, and I love it. So I'm making really good progress with this. I'm knitting this in Fiber for the People yarn. It's a 50% merino, 50% cotton base. I just had this in the shop, in my most recent shop update. I will be bringing it back before the summer is out because I love it. I personally think it's a fantastic kind of like 4 seasons yarn. It does have cotton in there, so it's not quite as insulating as an all wool yarn, but I feel like it's a nice one to have in your stash for moments when you want something a little bit more breathable in terms of being like airy and lightweight. I'm gonna need to drink yarn. Okay, drink water frequently because my throat is like a desert apparently. So this is that 50-50. It's such a beautiful color too. This is what I called water when I had this in the shop update. I brought this colorway back, or a really close cousin to this colorway back, called Water the Ficus in my most recent shop update, but that version of this was slightly less blue gray as this one is. But it was very beautiful. So that is what I'm using to make this. I love the cotton content here. I love the lightness, the airiness of it. I mean, oh, it's just so beautiful. The drape is lovely. How lovely is that? Yeah, so that is the progress I've made. This has been kind of like my go-to in the car as we've gotten up here. It's a 7-8 hour drive to get here from where we live in Henderson, Nevada. And so it's a great one to have. But that's not the only thing I've been working on. I reached in to some of my old whips, and here comes Pepper, and I pulled out the second half of this pair of socks that I talked about like months ago. This is just a pair of stripy vanilla socks in Nomadic yarns. I love this yarn. It's, again, a basic vanilla sock pattern. Hi, Pepper girl, come here. Come over here. Can you lay down? Can you lay, have you been chewing on sprinklers? No, yeah, you can go over there. Oh God, Pepper girl. Jeez Louise. That was disgusting. Okay, anyway, we're gonna just move through, roll with the punches. So these are those vanilla socks. Loving them. Well, I'm not knitting these 2 at a time. This is kind of before I really got into the 2 at a time sock knitting thing, but I am almost finished with the second sock. So here she be. I got the heel on there, and I am right now getting ready to decrease the toe. I'm gonna adjust my lighting here a little as the sun is going behind a cloud. Pardon me. But yeah, so this is where I'm at right now. So this is also one that I've been working kind of on and off between the hollow shell and these for our road trip. The only thing I'm noticing is that for whatever reason, the way that these are striping, and it has to do with, I'm sure, just like my intervals or the heel was a little bit different, but you see this little teal stripe or aqua stripe happening there. That doesn't happen on this one that you can see. So, you know, who cares? It doesn't matter, but I just noticed it. But yeah, so these are coming along, and I'm happy to have a complete pair of socks. And I will say it is kind of giving me a little bit more sock mojo than I've had lately. My sock mojo has been kind of in the dumps, but this is helping. But when I go back to knitting socks, it will absolutely be knitting them 2 at a time, because I don't know, I just, looking at this and having one sock, at least thank the Lord this one was finished, so I don't have to worry about that. But that is my little stripy socks in Nomadic yarns. How pretty is that? That's all I have left. I'm gonna have a significant amount left. Okay. Another thing that happens around here is back yonder, there's a big like kennel where they keep dogs for, farm dogs or whatever when people travel. There is a lot of roping that goes on up here, horse roping, a lot of horse ranchers that keep horse, and then obviously sheep. Sheep is a big thing up here. This is Basque country in northern Nevada, so there's lots of sheep ranchers, and I don't know what this is even doing anymore, but there's dogs. So you're gonna hear lots of dog barking. Just embrace that. Yeah, they're really going off. I don't know. Okay, so on my second to most recent videos, the one before this, I over-dyed some sweaters, and I loved the whole process of that, and I absolutely loved the results. Now, I didn't talk much at the end of that video. I just showed kind of a visual of what I came up with. But in case you're wondering, I absolutely loved the results. I love the sweaters. They're fantastic. Well, if you watch that video, you know that that orange sweater that I dyed, and if you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend that you do, had a lot of leftover dye that I needed to exhaust, because I always exhaust all of my dye one way or another. And one way that I do that with Fiber for the People is I dye additional skeins of yarn to absorb a lot of that excess dye water so that nothing goes to waste. And I wanted to share with you the skeins of yarn that I dyed from that. So if you did watch that video, then you know what I'm talking about. If you did not watch that video, you might want to fast forward through this section. If you like surprises, go back and watch that video and then come back and watch this section. I don't know if it matters all that much to you, but these are the skeins of yarn that came from that dye bath. Now keep in mind, these were kind of a medium gray before I put them in that dye bath, but this is what they are now. How pretty are those? Now we're working with dusk lighting here, guys, so let's use our imagination for what we can't make out. But how gorgeous is that color? It really is, and what I love about it too is you can see like richer spots of that rusty color, and then you can see spots in there where the gray is a little stronger. It's really beautiful. And this is all 100% organic, unsuperwashed, non-superwashed, untreated merino wool yarn. And it is gorgeous. Love that. So I have 5 skeins of these that I put into that dye bath to absorb. So these 5 Lucky Strike skeins are not mine to keep. These are going to be labeled and put into the Fiber for the People shop update that is coming up at the end of the month. So if you're interested and you want to try your hand at snagging some of these, they will be available in the shop on that update date, which is July 29th, Saturday. Okay, so one of the things that I got to do while I was up here, it was the second day we got up here, is I got to attend the 9th annual Rope for Hope event that is put on at the Duff Arena Ranch in northern Nevada. They get a lot of ropers together from the ranches in the area. They put on a roping competition, a silent auction to raise money for folks that have been affected in the ranching communities here by cancer. It's a really, really great cause, and it was an absolutely fabulous time. We had such a great time. Lots of fun things for us to do for the kids. Just the kids got so dirty and they had a great time playing. There were animals. We didn't take Pepper with us. Pepper got to stay here on the property. But lots of just dogs and animals and the sheep. So the Duff Arena Ranch, this may all sound like foreign to you unless you've heard me talk about Lovely Valley Wool. So you know that Lovely Valley Wool is a local to me, a regionally local Northern Nevada yarn company. And their sheep that provide the fleece for their wool come from the Duff Arena Ranch because it is part of the Duff Arena family. So Megan Duff Arena, she owns Lovely Valley Wool. She takes a portion of the fleece that is provided by the sheep on the Duff Arena Ranch, which is owned by her parents and her grandparents, and she processes that into some of the most beautiful 2-ply sport weight yarn that I have ever had the pleasure of having in my hands. And that yarn, a lot of that goes to a weaver who hand weaves these beautiful camp blankets. I'll pop pictures up so you can see. But then whatever is not used for weaving is processed into skeins and sold at lovelyvalleywool.com. And I definitely suggest you go check it out. It's all natural colors, beautiful gray and natural ecru, and the most beautiful black yarn. It is just sumptuous. So anyway, that was the ranch where we went for this roping, a Rope for Hope event. And I got to meet not only the sheep that were there, I got to meet Megan Duff Arena and just completely pick her brain about what she does. And we talked so much about yarn and just, I don't know, like I learned so much about what she does as a business owner and how she runs her business and how her family runs their ranch and what happens to their sheep, meaning like where they are, which they're currently up in the mountains of Nevada right now, just living their best life in the cooler temperatures. And the sheep that are down at the ranch right now are ones that require a little bit more attention, or lambs, things like that. But I got to see those sheep, and it was such a pleasure to get to go to the Duff Arena Ranch to meet Megan Duff Arena and see where Lovely Valley Wool comes from and just learn more about that business. I feel so fortunate and honored. And while I was there, I happened to, Megan showed me some stuff that she had been holding on to and some inventory, and she showed me this cone of Lovely Valley Wool yarn in this gorgeous natural gray color. It's a 2-ply sport weight yarn, and I hope that you can see it really here because it's got such beautiful colors within that gray. But I purchased this from her because I am so excited I would love to have my own kind of just a classic crew neck sweater in this color for myself. I just adore this color. So I got my hands on this and it feels amazing, just so beautiful. Love it. And she was so generous to give me a cone of the natural white, a smaller cone here, which really had me starting to think about like color work opportunities with the two together. There's Pepper. But I'm just so stinking excited about it. But anyway, love this. Love having the opportunity to visit with Megan, to learn more about Lovely Valley Wool, to get my hot little hands on some hot yarn that I'm just obsessed with. I have to tell you, when it comes to breed specific yarn and finding, you know, when it is the time that you feel like you would like to branch out and go for something breed specific or something, you know, natural or whatever. Not that that's always what you have to be knitting with, because it's not. But when you feel like that's something that you want to do, when you can find something like that that's local to you, meaning like regionally local, this is in Nevada, I'm a Nevada native, it's really a very special thing. So the sun is starting to pop back out, and I just had like a coughing fit just now, but I don't know if now that the sun is popping out, I kind of want to pop these skeins back up in front of the camera. Pull it together, Tayler. And I want to see if you can see this color a little bit better. The sun is behind me. I don't know why I think this would work, but I don't know. I'm just popping this up so you can see. You know, there's this. How beautiful. Love it. And then look at this. Let's see if it's any better now with that sun coming out. Isn't that beautiful? Anyway, so like I was saying, that if you can find that yarn in a local capacity, it's really very special, and take that opportunity. And I feel so fortunate to have found Lovely Valley Wool, to have them be from Nevada, from a traditional, you know, a Basque tradition, which Basque culture is a big part of Nevada history. And this, you know, sheep farming is carrying on that Basque tradition. And I think that it's really wonderful, and I absolutely love their yarn. It's beautiful yarn. Please go to lovelyvalleywool.com. I am not sponsored by them or affiliated in any capacity other than being a real fan of Lovely Valley Wool. So when you go and you check out their website, even if it's based on my recommendation, you are just supporting a really true grassroots family-owned business, and it's really special. So I felt just, I don't know, I was honored to have that opportunity. And I took some video while I was there. I didn't take any video while I was chit-chatting with Megan because I'm a little uncomfortable doing that, and I wanted to really just be present and have a conversation. But I took some video of some of the things that we saw while we were at the Rope for Hope, and I want to share that with you guys today, especially as I'm losing my voice. I don't know, it's all stacked against me right now. So I am going to send it back in time to me a couple days ago over at the Rope for Hope. I'm going to share with you a little bit of what we saw while we were there. It was a great time. And I'll see you on the other side to give you my salutations before I head off.
Sway there in all the colors, summer love, lonesome dove, folded on the lawn chair in all the colors, summer love. Stop giving back. Honeysuckle, fresh cut grass. I could really use some stuff like that. Talk to me and tell me all that you've seen, all the colors, summer love. Memories washed in every shade of green and all the colors, summer love. Day canoe, bathing in the turquoise blue, losing track of time with you. Another peach pie sunset view, sleeping in the afternoon. No place to be and nothing to prove. That's sure something I could use. A cure for the air conditioning blues. Good to use some too.
We had such a great time. It was very memorable. My kids had a blast and made some new friends. And I feel like not only did we get the chance to spend time with friends that we've already established up here in Northern Nevada, I got to make new friends in the Duffarinas and Megan Duffarina, and that just absolutely makes my day. So thank you for hanging out with me, listening to me chat about these things with you. It always means so much to get to share all these little things I have going on. I will see you on Sunday's episode of the podcast because we are here on this family vacation. I can't be certain I'm going to be able to get a midweek ramble up this week, but I will certainly be back for a proper episode of the podcast next Sunday. Thank you guys so much. If you took value from this video or enjoyed yourself at all, please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe and hit that bell icon so you can be notified anytime I upload new content, which is most regularly every Wednesday and every Sunday. And until I see you on next Sunday's episode of the podcast, happy knitting, happy making, happy whatever it is that you're doing. Take care, be well, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Some love.